Well, the first most important thing about America is freedom. See, you can be a capitalist, you can be a communist. I have a lot of friends who are communists, but they don't know it. That's probably our greatest asset, is that freedom. But we have to fight back. That's all I'm saying. Biden, and I'm not political, I just think he's the most incompetent. I can't believe he cuts down the Keystone XL pipeline, and then blames Russia for raising gas prices. He opens the borders, he cuts down our oil supply, and then he blames Putin for our problems. That's a weak president. It was Marx who said, we must have a central bank. It was Lenin said, if you want to destroy capitalism, you must debauch the currency, which is exactly what Nixon did in 1971. Lenin said, if you want to crush the middle class, you grind them through taxes and inflation. And that's what we're doing. How do you protect yourself from Marxism taught in schools? You prevent being crushed by Marxism taught in schools by teaching capitalism at home. Well, the first most important thing about America is freedom. See, you can be a capitalist, you can be a communist. I have a lot of friends who are communists, but they don't know it. That's probably our greatest asset, is that freedom. But we have to fight back. That's all I'm saying. Biden, and I'm not political, I just think he's the most incompetent. I can't believe he cuts down the Keystone XL pipeline, and then blames Russia for raising gas prices. He opens the borders, he cuts down our oil supply, and then he blames Putin for our problems. That's a weak president. I live in a fairly exclusive place in South Carolina. And I was talking to my friends there, and they said, oh, we love Trump, we love Trump. Stock market's at all-time high. And I said, yeah, but so is our debt all-time high. See, they watch the stock market, they don't watch the debt. And the repo market, the repurchase market, is one of the biggest markets in the world. And the Fed is bailing that one out now. So the average American is watching the stock market, but not what's really going on. I don't tell people what to do because I can do what I do, but I study hard to do it. That's like a doctor studies hard to be a doctor. It doesn't mean you should be a doctor yourself. But there's 5 things called the 5 Gs. Number 1 is gold, grub for food. That's why I invest in cattle. Ground, real estate, gasoline. I used to work for Standard Oil, but I don't invest in oil stocks. I invest in the oil in the ground. And then guns. See, in 1971, when Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard, right? Just broke all the rules. And my poor dad kept saying, save money. Well, why would you save money when they can print it? You know what I mean? Why would you do that? So I came back, I went to Vietnam twice as a Marine pilot. And I came back and I couldn't listen to my poor dad anymore. He wanted me to fly for United Airlines and get a job in a 401k. And I don't know that United Airlines pensions are gone. They got looted. So I couldn't listen to my poor dad anymore. And in '74 was when ERISA was passed. ERISA was Economic Income Retirement Security Act. And anything the government says they're going to protect, you're in trouble. That ERISA became the 401k. And then I noticed all these school teachers leaving the school system to become financial planners. And the more I saw that, I went, oh my God, they're being set up. And so when I saw my father's compadres, all these school teachers with master's degrees, PhDs, becoming financial planners, they were treading into my rich dad's territory. Debt to GDP is a correlation of M2, the volume of money, times the velocity of money. And the reason Yellen and Powell are scrambling is because they've expanded M2, so everybody thinks there's going to be inflation. But the velocity of money is plummeting. People are not spending. So they pump all this money in, prices go up. Meanwhile, the Asians are catching up now. The ports are finally open. So it is transitory inflation. But the problem is we're stacked with this massive debt, and all it's done is bump up the stock market and real estate market. The money has not gone into the economy. That's the sad part. So the rich get rich. but the poor and middle class are getting poorer. It is tragic what's happening today.
Lenin said if you want to destroy the economy, you want to destroy capitalism, debauch the currency. So in 1971, just before I went to Vietnam, Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard. But they don't teach you that. You see, our system is communist. And I hate to say that because I'm a Marine, went to Vietnam twice, I fought for this country, went to military school, and today they're talking about reparations. But what history doesn't tell you is that Hitler rose to power on reparations. Why don't they teach us that stuff? So that's why I learned at military school. If you study Marx, Lenin, Hitler, and Mao, you'll see it all over the school system.
So technology is going to wipe out more jobs. Like, who's going to fly? Who's going to stay at a hotel? You know, I can now do more seminars in a day. You know, I did one the other day. I did a recording in Europe. I did one in the States, and then that evening I did one in Singapore. So meanwhile, they're trying to keep these dead industries afloat, and somebody's going to say, hey, it cannot go much further, and it's coming this October because the velocity of money is now too slow. Savings are going up, spending is going down.
Marx had one thing, it was the abolition of private property. In other words, we could own nothing. So they wanted to take all of our private property away, and it would then go to the state. And that's why when you study communism and Marxism, it's a centralized economy. It's called, in military terms, it's called command and control. I went to military school. So it's a command and control economy where the government tells you everything. And so that's why the Federal Reserve Bank is part of a communist bank. It's a central bank. And the central bank is not American, it's not a bank, and there's no reserves in it. And for history, since Jefferson and those guys, they kept saying, we cannot have central banks. But because our academic system is basically Marxist, you know, most school teachers are Marxists, they just don't know it. I'll say this one more time. If you study Marx, a central bank is essential to communism. That's the Fed. It's the third central bank we've had. It came into existence in 1913. In 1913, the Fed was created, so was the tax department in 1913. Oh, coincidence. The average guy has no idea that happened. I buy Bitcoin or a property at $1 million, property on the sand. It goes up to 10. I'll borrow it at 5. That fell $5 million. I still have the property. I haven't sold it. I have no taxable event because I didn't sell it. So that $5 million is tax-free because it's debt. You see, debt is the key.